The text came in between customers. I'm leaving you. Moving to Miami with my 20-year-old girlfriend. Already drained our joint account. Lol. 12 years of marriage. Ended in 160 characters. I didn't flinch. Didn't cry. Didn't even blink as I helped Mrs. Peterson choose a scarf. Our signature silver wrapping paper as crisp as always. My name is Claire. I'm 38, and that was how my husband decided to blow up our life together. Over text. While I was ringing up a regular. But here's the thing. While Mark was probably high-fiving himself for the perfect exit, imagining me sobbing into a bottle of wine, I was calmly locking up my boutique. The boutique I built from scratch. The one that makes more money than his middling corporate job ever did. Because I saw it coming. The late nights, at work, that didn't match his paycheck. The sudden phone password. The new gym obsession. The overpriced cologne. The shirt 2 sizes too small on a body 10 years past its prime. 3 months ago, I found the receipt. Dinner for 2 at a 5-star restaurant. A night he said he was working late. That same evening, I opened a new bank account, in a different bank. A week later, when he suggested combining our finances, to simplify things, I smiled and agreed. Meanwhile, my personal savings? Gone. Hidden. Safe. The joint account he emptied today? It had just enough to look normal. The rest was mine, along with a detailed, time-stamped log of every shady transaction Mark had made for the past year. My phone buzzed again. Don't bother begging. Melissa and I leave tomorrow. I'll send for my stuff later. Melissa, the new receptionist. I met her at the Christmas party, watched her laugh a little too loud at his jokes. Saw the way she touched his arm when she thought no one was looking. Young, naive, convinced she was special. I didn't text back. I called my lawyer. The papers are ready, she said. File them, I replied. Let him think he's won. Another text came in. Must be hard for you. You're not getting younger. At least you've got your little shop. My little shop. The 6-figure boutique I own outright. The one I deliberately kept separate from anything with his name on it. The one he underestimated, just like he underestimated me. I smiled, thinking of the certified letters waiting for him in Miami. He could enjoy his big moment. It wouldn't last. That night, I stayed in our house. Well, my house. I inherited it from my grandmother and never added his name to the deed. He'd asked, more than once. Something always told me not to. While organizing documents for my lawyer, I found our wedding album. Mark looked different back then, before the midlife crisis, before the desperation to stay relevant. Now he wears skinny jeans he can't quite zip, throws around Gen Z slang like confetti, and hangs out with 20-somethings like he's not old enough to be their dad. My phone kept buzzing, each message more patronizing than the last. Melissa understands me. You'll be fine. Maybe find someone your age. Already told my family. They agree it's nobody's fault. I screenshotted every message, saved them in my evidence folder. Then the kicker. BTWI used the joint card to book our flights and hotel. Consider it my parting gift. Lol. Perfect. I dialed the credit card company. Mrs. Harrison speaking. I need to report fraudulent charges and cancel a card immediately. Can you identify the charges? 2 first-class tickets to Miami. Royal Palm Hotel. Oh, and remove my husband as an authorized user. Do you have proof? Text messages. From my husband. Admitting everything. There was a pause. Then a click of keys. We'll cancel the charges immediately, ma'am. And forward documentation for your records. Tomorrow, Mark and Melissa will show up at the airport expecting a romantic getaway. Instead, they'll find their tickets invalid. Their hotel booking gone. Their start of a new life, delayed by the long shadow of consequences. He thinks he left me in the dust. But the truth? He walked right into the storm. And I didn't even have to raise my voice. Don't worry about the house, he texted. You can stay there until you find something smaller. I actually laughed out loud at that. Did he seriously believe he had any claim to my house? The house I inherited from my grandmother? The house with my name on the deed? Mark's ego had officially left the atmosphere. Then another message came. I know the shop means a lot to you. We can work out a fair payment for your half. My half? Of my boutique? The business I built from scratch with my own money, while he sat on the couch calling it my cute little hobby. While he watched Netflix, I was working late nights, pouring my heart into that place. I poured myself a glass of wine, the good bottle I'd been saving for a special occasion. This counted. Tomorrow, Mark was going to get a crash course in property law and the reality of separate assets. Tonight, I was going to enjoy some well-earned peace. Blank. _. The next morning, a flurry of texts. Angry, panicked, sloppy. What did you do to the credit card? The airline won't honor our tickets. The hotel canceled our reservation. Answer me. I muted my phone and headed to work. It was Friday, my busiest day. A fresh shipment of designer handbags had just arrived. Turns out, life goes on, even when your husband runs off with a girl young enough to need a fake ID. Blank. Blank. Around noon, my phone rang again. It was his mother. Claire, dear, Mark told us everything. About how controlling you've been. How you pushed him away. He says you're being vindictive now, sabotaging his travel plans. I put her on speaker as I rearranged the store window. Did he also mention draining our joint account? Or charging luxury airline tickets in a hotel stay to our shared credit card? Silence. Well, he said you left him no choice. That you'd been cold and distant. Barbara, I said calmly, I have the messages. Would you like me to read them to you? The one where he brags about stealing from me? Or the one where he mocks my age? Another pause. He did seem a little cruel. I told him that message was inappropriate. I've always liked you, Barbara. But my lawyer advised me to keep contact with Mark's family to a minimum. We're in legal proceedings now. Goodbye. Blank. By late afternoon, Mark's sister was already fueling the family drama. According to mutual friends, Mark and Melissa were stuck in a budget motel near the airport. Their Grand Miami escape? Sunk. Apparently, Mark's personal credit cards were maxed out. Another red flag I'd quietly noted months ago. Then my lawyer called. The emergency hearing is scheduled for Monday. Between the credit card fraud and joint account theft, we're in a great position to freeze any remaining assets. Has he been served? Not yet, but he'll receive the documents at the motel. Oh, and Melissa? She'd been busy posting their adventure all over social media. Some of the captions weren't exactly flattering toward me. I smiled and added her posts to my growing evidence folder. Blank. Then Mark tried again. You think you're so smart. But I copied all your boutique's financial records. Half that business is mine. I forwarded the text to my lawyer. Let him find out the hard way what business structure and asset separation really mean. Sometimes, the best revenge is simply being prepared. Monday. The hearing. Mark showed up wearing designer jeans 2 sizes too small, clearly trying to pass for 25. Melissa waited outside, her youth looking far less charming under harsh courthouse lighting. My lawyer came in prepared. With receipts. Literally. Mark's bragging texts about draining the account. The credit card fraud. A full year of shady charges, hotel stays, and questionable transactions. Mark's lawyer tried to spin it. My client admits to some poor decisions, but Mrs. Harrison's actions have been calculated and vindictive. Calculated? My lawyer countered. We prefer the term strategic. My client protected her separate property and documented her husband's deceptive behavior. That's not vindictive. That's smart. The judge reviewed the paperwork in silence. And the verdict? Mark's Miami love story just got cancelled harder than his airline tickets. He never thought I'd be ready. But I was. The deed to the house? In my name only. Passed down from my grandmother. The boutique? Legally incorporated, fully documented, separate finances since day one. Everything he once rolled his eyes at, my spreadsheets, my meticulous records, were about to become my greatest defense. In court, the judge turned to Mark. Mr. Harrison, you admitted, via text, to draining your joint account and using shared credit cards to pay for a romantic getaway with your girlfriend. Do you deny this? Mark squirmed. I just wanted a clean break. By committing financial fraud? The judge raised an eyebrow. And now you're claiming rights to assets that, by every legal document in this courtroom, are separate from marital property? His lawyer tried one last Hail Mary. The business expanded during their marriage, Your Honor. My client is entitled to a share. My lawyer shut it down. The business was established before the marriage. Mrs. Harrison kept her business finances completely separate. We have every deposit, every receipt, down to the penny. I watched Mark's face shift. That smug certainty, crumbling. He really thought this would be easy. Drain the accounts. Run off with his 20-something girlfriend. Claim half of everything on his way out the door. He never believed my obsessive bookkeeping would matter. The court finds sufficient evidence of financial misconduct, the judge announced. All joint assets are frozen. Mr. Harrison, you are ordered to repay the joint account in full within 24 hours. Mark's mouth opened. But the money's gone, we spent it on. Then find a way to return it, the judge snapped. And for the record, this court takes a very dim view of funding affairs with marital resources. blank. Outside the courthouse, I heard Melissa asking Mark what would happen to their Miami trip. His answer was drowned out by the sound of my heels echoing confidently off the marble floor. I wasn't looking back, blank. The next few weeks? Desperation. Mark suddenly remembered the boutique had been his idea. Claimed he'd invested money early on. Tried to rebrand himself as my silent partner. Every claim fell apart against the mountain of evidence I'd quietly built. He's scrambling, my lawyer told me. They're living in her studio now. Apparently, being supported by a receptionist's salary isn't quite the dream life he had in mind. Even his family started calling me. This time, humbled. We had no idea, his sister Amanda confessed. He told us you were cold. Controlling. That you pushed him away. But then we saw the texts. The way he bragged about taking your money. That's not the brother I thought I knew. His mom called too. In tears. The things he said about your age, how he'd traded up. I raised him better than that. Or at least I thought I did. Too little, too late. They weren't calling because they cared. They were calling because the ship was sinking, and the rats were jumping off. Meanwhile, my boutique was thriving. Word got out. The town rallied behind me. Women came in, just to support, and left with 2 handbags and a matching scarf. It became personal for them. My ex tried the same thing, one whispered while paying. Men like that never think we're smart enough to protect ourselves. Blank. Mark still texted, swinging between anger and manipulation. You ruined everything. You'll regret being so vindictive. That business would be nothing without me. Each message? Forwarded to my lawyer. No response. No emotion. Just building his case against himself. Word got back to me that Melissa was having regrets. Apparently, sharing a cramped apartment with a bitter, broke middle-aged man wasn't quite the adventure she'd imagined. Her Instagram went from selfies and sunsets to breakup quotes and healing journey hashtags. By the next day, she'd quietly removed, in a relationship, from her profile. I almost felt sorry for Mark. Almost. But then I remembered how he laughed when he told me the money was gone. How he mocked my age. How he assumed I'd crumble without him. I didn't feel pity. I felt pride. Pride in my foresight. Pride in my quiet strength. Pride in the woman who stayed calm, took notes, and waited for the moment he would dig his own grave. The final hearing? Not the victorious moment Mark had imagined. Gone was his cocky grin. In its place? Panic, sweat, silence. Melissa? Nowhere to be found. She'd moved on, to a guy her own age who, reportedly, had his own apartment and a retirement plan. The judge delivered the ruling. Mark was left with debts, legal fees, and a very clear lesson: never mistake silence for weakness. And never, ever underestimate a woman who knows how to keep receipts. He used to laugh at my little shop. Called it a hobby. Mocked my spreadsheets, my receipts, my obsession with keeping business and personal finances separate. He said I was too controlling. Too cold. Too old. Funny how quickly things change. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I opened a second boutique. Sales were booming. Our online store was taking off. We'd just hired our 3rd new employee, and local business magazines were reaching out to feature me. Not as some scorned ex-wife, but as a smart, prepared woman who built something solid and protected it. Meanwhile, Mark? Well, according to office gossip, he'd shown up to work in worn-out khakis and an old shirt. His designer wardrobe returned to help repay the joint account he'd drained for that infamous getaway with Melissa. His lawyer looked exhausted in court, clearly worn down from trying to punch holes in my records. Your Honor, he tried one last time. Despite the documentation, my client contributed to the business's growth through moral support. My lawyer didn't even flinch. Moral support? Like these text messages calling it a cute little shop. Or these Instagram posts mocking it as her shopping hobby. The judge had heard enough. The final settlement? I kept my house, my business, every separate asset, carefully documented and defended. Mark? He walked away with some clothes, a car worth less than the loan on it, and a ride home with his mother. You've destroyed me, he hissed as we left the courtroom. I have to move back in with my parents. I didn't flinch. No, Mark, you destroyed you. I just made sure you couldn't destroy me, too. His mother was waiting in the parking lot, keys in hand, ready to take him back to his childhood bedroom, at age 45. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. The man who mocked my age now couldn't afford a life of his own. You planned this all along, he snapped. You knew this would happen. No, I said simply. I just paid attention. And unlike you, I understood the value of good records. His mom stepped in then. That's enough, Mark. You've embarrassed yourself enough already. As they walked away, I heard her start in on him. What were you thinking? A 20-year-old? Emptying accounts? Those horrible texts? I watched them disappear into the lot, feeling nothing but relief. Blank. Blank. Mark thought he was writing the end of our story when he sent that cruel text. Turns out, it was just the beginning of mine. My phone buzzed. Not with his angry messages, but with new orders from my website. Life wasn't just moving forward. It was thriving, in a direction he never imagined. Blank. Mark tried dating again. No luck. Women his age weren't interested in a man living with his parents. Younger women had heard the rumors, seen the screenshots Melissa shared after she dumped him. Even his career tanked. HR launched an investigation into his relationship with Melissa, his subordinate. He was formally reprimanded. The promotion he expected? Given to someone else. He even tried to claim age discrimination. His sister Amanda told me when she stopped by my boutique one afternoon. Said HR was punishing him for dating someone younger. They just added that complaint to his file. I was surprised to see her. But her presence said everything. She picked up a silk scarf, smoothed it between her fingers. We didn't support you at first, she admitted. He played the victim so well. But watching what he did, how he acted after. I'm ashamed we ever believed him. Blank. Meanwhile, my lawyer kept me updated. Mark had filed another petition challenging the settlement. Each time, denied. He even tried to argue that his text saying he emptied our account was just a joke. The judge didn't miss a beat. Does, make theft less illegal? She asked. The courtroom chuckled. I didn't even need to smile. Funny how life works. The same man who mocked me now lived in his mother's house. And the woman he tried to ruin? She became a feature in business magazines. Young entrepreneurs started reaching out for advice, asking how to protect what they were building. The best protection, I told one of them, is preparation. Because love can be messy. Breakups can be ugly. But numbers, records, paperwork, that's power. And I had it all along. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. It's quiet. It's graceful. It's standing in your third boutique, holding a glass of champagne, while people call you an inspiration. 1 year after my divorce, life looked nothing like I'd imagined during those 123 long, silent nights lying next to someone I didn't trust anymore. My third boutique was opening. The press showed up. The mayor came by. There were ribbon cuttings, flash photography, and one very unexpected guest. Melissa. Yes, that Melissa. She slipped in during the opening, trying to look inconspicuous in oversized sunglasses and a sleek black dress. But I recognized her instantly. Still young, still pretty. Only this time, she didn't look so smug. She clutched her purse like it might shield her from the truth. I owe you an apology, she said quietly. I believed everything he told me. That you were cold, controlling, that you didn't support his dreams. I didn't stop arranging the sunglasses display. Those weren't dreams, Melissa, I said. They were escapes. There's a difference. She nodded slowly. I know that now. He tried using the same tricks on me when things got hard. After you froze the accounts, he thought moving into my studio apartment would be temporary. After 2 weeks of complaining about the closet and suggesting I take out a loan for something bigger. I got it. I actually laughed. Let me guess, he had big plans? Crypto investments? A promotion just around the corner? Exactly, she sighed. But now I'm dating someone my own age. We have student loans and a small apartment, but we're building something real. After she left, my assistant leaned over and whispered, "Was that the girlfriend?" "No," I replied, smiling, "just another woman who learned the same lesson I did." Mark's mother still called sometimes. Usually after he did something especially reckless. First it was online gambling. Then it was a pyramid scheme. Each, big idea, digging him deeper into debt. We offered to help him if he'd just take responsibility, she said during one call. But he's still blaming everyone else, you, Melissa, the judge, his company. I listened politely, but their family drama wasn't mine anymore. The only thing in my life still connected to Mark was a screenshot. Framed in my office, right beneath my latest business award. His final text before I blocked his number. Have fun with your little shop. At least it'll keep you busy in your old age. I look at it often. Not with anger, with clarity, because that was the moment he lost. Blank, underscore, blank. Mark filed another petition to contest the divorce settlement. My lawyer texted, dismissed immediately. Judge ordered him to pay court costs. Thought you'd enjoy that. I did. Not because I wanted to watch him fail, but because it reminded me I'd done everything right. Blank, underscore, blank. People often ask me how I got here. How I came back stronger. I tell them this: prepare, protect, trust your instincts. Don't let someone mock your ambition just because they don't understand it. Don't downplay your intelligence to make a man feel bigger. And never, ever let someone turn your dreams into their escape plan. These days, young entrepreneurs come to me for advice. They want to know how to keep their business safe, how to separate love from finances, how to rise from a personal disaster without falling apart. I tell them the truth. Sometimes the best revenge isn't screaming or settling scores. It's building a life so stable, so solid, so yours, that the person who tried to wreck it becomes nothing more than a framed text and a cautionary tale. Success is the best revenge. 2 years after my ex-husband Mark sent me that infamous text, "Have fun with your little shop," I stood on stage at a national women's business conference. The topic wasn't divorce, betrayal, or heartbreak. It was growth, independence, how to build and protect what's yours. My story had shifted. What once was a cautionary tale had become a blueprint for resilience. Blank, underscore, blank. During the Q&A, a woman stood up, nervous, unsure, and asked, "My husband says I'm being paranoid, that in marriage, you're supposed to share everything. But I want to keep my business finances separate. Am I wrong for feeling this way?" I smiled, not out of judgment, but recognition. My ex said the same thing, I told her. Right up until he tried to take half my business during our divorce. Trust your instincts. Protection isn't paranoia, it's wisdom learned the hard way. Blank, underscore, blank. By then, my little boutique, the one Mark mocked, had grown into 5 thriving locations. We'd been featured in national magazines, employed over 30 people, and built a loyal following that turned customers into a community. Meanwhile, through mutual friends, I heard that Mark had finally moved out of his parents' house into a tiny apartment above a garage. He'd lost his job in a company restructuring. The promotion he'd always bragged about never happened. His dating profile still claimed he was young at heart, but his photo was clearly from a different decade. Blank, underscore, blank. Ironically, Melissa, yes, that Melissa, had become a regular at my original boutique. One day, as she paid for a blazer she planned to wear to a pitch meeting, she said, "You actually inspired me. Watching how you rebuilt your life, it showed me a woman can create something real, lasting. Not just fall for big talk and empty promises." She'd earned her business degree, launched her own social media firm, and learned the same lesson I had. Real success doesn't need someone else's approval. Blank, underscore, blank. In my office hangs a framed screenshot of Mark's final message: "Have fun with your little shop. At least it'll keep you busy in your old age." Under it, a simple plaque: "Success is the best revenge." Blank, underscore, blank. At the 5-year anniversary of my flagship store, I stood before my staff and customers, some of whom had been with me since day one, and spoke from the heart. Not about Mark, but about what it meant to build something from the ground up. To choose growth over bitterness. To be underestimated and thrive anyway. Blank, underscore, blank. Near the end of the night, I noticed a familiar face: Mark's mother. I hadn't invited her, but there she was, standing in a dress from my store, waiting until the crowd thinned. "I saw Mark yesterday," she said softly. "He was talking about his glory days. About the life he could have had." She paused. "He still doesn't get it. He didn't lose everything in the divorce, he threw it away." I didn't respond. I didn't need to. We both knew the truth. Blank, underscore, blank. Just then, my newest hire, another young woman named Melissa, funny enough, walked over with a question about the inventory system. As I walked her through it, I caught a glimpse of myself in the store window. And for a moment, I saw what Mark never had. Not a woman getting older, but a woman getting wiser, stronger, unstoppable. His cruel text was never an ending. It was a beginning, not just for me, but for every woman who's ever been told she's too much, too old, too ambitious. Because the truth is, we're not too much. They were simply not enough.